Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode. My name is Mohammad Reza Fati, and I'm a life coach. What we do in life echoes in eternity. In this video, we are going to talk about resilience, something we hear it all the time, but we might not know it deeply. We're not talking about dramatic collapse. We're talking about something much deeper. The moment when nothing is technically wrong, but something inside you feels heavy. You wake up in a normal day and you go to work, you do your work and you answer your messages, you try to grow, you try to be your best, and yet something feels off. You're not broken, nothing catastrophic has already happened, just tiring. And that kind of tiredness is dangerous because it doesn't look like serious problem. It doesn't sound serious from the outside. No one sees it and no one asks about it. Even you might not notice it. But on the inside, you start asking questions. Is it worth it? Is this leading somewhere? Am I building something meaningful or just surviving? Today, we are going to unpack that, why this feeling shows up and how it connects to your job, your money, your relationship, and how to tell whether you're growing or shrinking, and what real resilience actually looks like in normal life. Not motivational quotes, real, actual life. Because most people don't break in chaos, they break in the middle. That's a very important point. Part one, the middle is mentally exhausting. Here's what nobody prepares you for. You don't quit after a big failure. You quit after slow progress. Imagine this. You've been consistent for years. You improved your skills, you watched tutorials, you stayed disciplined when you didn't feel like it, you tried to become better, and still, nothing dramatic happened. No breakthrough moment, no sudden leap, no external validation. At first, you're calm. You say, growth takes time, but then something subtle starts happening. You begin checking results more often. You start comparing more. You notice other people moving faster, and your brain starts whispering, maybe this isn't working. That whisper slowly drains energy. And here's something simple. Your brain is wired for feedback. When effort doesn't create visible reward, motivation naturally drops, right? This is not weakness. This is neuroscience. This is how we work. The brain saves energy when reward feels uncertain. So when you're growing slowly, it actually feels worse than failing clearly. Because at least with failure, you know where you stand. But with slow growth, you live in uncertainty. And uncertainty is mentally exhausting. Now, let's connect this to real life. Money. You're responsible, you have your own budget, you say no to unnecessary things, and you try to be stable. You still feel, but relief doesn't come fast. You still feel tight, and you start thinking, how long do I have to live like this? That question builds pressure. Or in regards of relationship, no big fight, no betrayal, but less warmth, less excitement. You start overanalyzing small things. You start to read into tone. You interpret every silence. And instead of one big problem, you have 50 tiny doubts. That's exhausting. Or consider personal growth. You read, you reflect, you watch YouTube, you try to improve emotionally, but you still get triggered sometimes. And then you judge yourself for not being evolved enough. That internal criticism is draining. And here's the truth, the middle phase of anything is repetitive, and repetition feels boring. And boring feels like stagnation. Even when it's actually progress, that's where resilience starts. Not in chaos, in repetition. Part number two, Growth or misalignment? Now, we need clarity. Because resilience doesn't mean staying everywhere. Sometimes leaving is correct. So, how do you know? Ask yourself slowly, has this felt wrong for a short time or for a long time? There is a difference between discomfort and decay. Discomfort feels like pressure, but decay feels like shrinking. Discomfort challenges you, but decay drains you. For example, if your job is stressful, but you're learning, that's discomfort. If your job makes you smaller, quieter, and less confident, that might be decay. If your relationship feels routine, but safe and respectful, that's normal. But if your relationship makes you anxious, unseen, unheard, that's different. Resilience is not blind endurance, it's calm evaluation. And evaluation requires emotional regulation, which means you don't decide while triggered. If you had a bad meeting today, today is not decision day. If you had an argument, tonight is not decision night. Let your nervous system settle first because stress exaggerates everything. When you're stressed, your brain sees permanent threat in temporary discomfort. That's so big deal. That's why people send breakup texts at midnight. That's why people quit jobs impulsively. Not because it's wrong, because it felt unbearable in that moment. And you see so many motivational videos, quit your job, start your own business, and you say, yeah, I'm in discomfort. Resilience says, let me breathe first, then I'll decide. Part 3, practical resilience. So, what does this look like in a daily life? First rule, no major decisions on bad days. Create that as a life policy. Second, separate burnout from misalignment. Ask yourself, if I had 2 weeks of real rest, would this still be wrong? If the answer is no, you're just tired, not misaligned. But if the answer is yes, then investigate deeper. No big deal. Third, measure internal progress. Instead of asking, did I win yet? Ask yourself, am I stronger than before? Am I better than before? More disciplined, emotionally stable, more skilled? Because internal growth often comes before visible results. And if you quit too early, you're never going to see that external shift and result. Fourth, talk to someone ahead of you. Isolation magnifies doubt. Perspective shrinks it. Sometimes you don't need a solution. You just need reassurance that the middle phase is normal. You talk to somebody and he says, yeah, it's okay. I've been through that. You're going to make it. Sometimes this is much better than reading 200 books. If you feel tired today, it doesn't mean you're weak. It might mean you're in the middle of something, and that middle is quiet. It doesn't clap for you, nobody admires you, it doesn't reward you quickly. It just asks you one question. Are you ready? Are you steady? Real resilience is not loud, it's calm. When you're in your mind settled, it's choosing not to panic, not to escape, not to run away, not to react emotionally. It's staying long enough to see clearly. And when you see clearly, then you move. Not from fear, but from intention. That's resilience. What we do in life echoes in eternity.